Hello, lovely. Welcome to my channel. My name is Gina Culbreath, and I am a life coach at Sea Bliss Wellness. For those of you who are not familiar with me, for those of you who are, welcome back. Glad to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we are, of course, meeting very frequently now. I mean, frequently by my standards, because I was going months at a time without any communication. And now I'm not going to say try, because in the words of the Yoda, we do or don't do, no try. So I am posting videos twice a week. And this particular video, I had been doing segments that were healing related. This one is more of a let's just chop it up, because I think this is something that, of course, I know from firsthand experience. So I just want to share my little story about how this shows up for me. And I hope it will be helpful if I share this, and then you can kind of see how things like this pop up for you in your life. So I have termed this the sour grapes mentality. Sour grapes, just in the sense that like something didn't go how I wanted it to go, and now I'm just kind of salty about it. Which is a normal human response. So no heat, no judgment about that. That's just an observation. Sometimes you feel a certain way. That's just life. And I'm not in any way, shape, form, or fashion saying there's something wrong with feeling away. We're humans. We feel away sometimes. It's okay. But here's the part that I feel like I have had to really kind of be super aware of. If one thing does not go my way, I have had a tendency to use that incident to determine how I feel about future things and the decisions I make on future things. Let me think. I want to give you a good example. I'll give an example about relationship, because I think most people have had a similar experience. So I'm going to change the names to protect the innocent, or are they? But I don't want to put nobody's business out there. So let's just say I was with a gentleman, and I told him something about, like, personally about me, that I was being vulnerable and sharing something with him. And there came a point when, not of course at the time when I told him, but at another point in the relationship, where he brought it back up verbatim to use against me. Like, oh, you did such and such and so and so. Oh, you did such and such and so and so. So you can't say nothing about blah, blah, blah. And I remember in that moment just feeling like, how dare you? The absolute audacity. And I was right to feel away at that time. I'm not in any way going to say that wasn't that was not cool on no level. Like, you don't do that. When someone shares something with you and makes themselves vulnerable to you, it's not so you can use it against them later. So for those who have done that or do that, shame on you. It's not right. But I digress. But so that was a singular incident. It was a very singular incident. And know that I never told that person anything again. Never, like never. That's already kind of OD. Like, that's over the top, because basically I'm saying if a person does something to me one time, and mind you, I never told the person I had a problem with it. I just mentally took note, like, oh, that's how you get down? Oh, this is how I rock with that, a type of person that does that. So even though I'm supposed to be in a relationship with this person, I did not say I was bothered by the thing. I just made a mental note to judge them in all future ways going forward. And just to be extra thorough, I did it in the next two relationships as well. Latest, excuse me, my tongue got held up. The latest one, I did tell things. They never threw it up in my face though, but I did like have the comfort level that I'm going to, share again. But it took me a minute to get to it. Like I didn't want to do it at first because I actually felt like, oh, if I tell you something, you're going to throw it up in my face again. But then I had to really come to the awareness that I placed that on there. Like I made that the narrative of the story. That was how that was going to be from this one incident, that everything going forward was going to be similar. So I basically used one incident to determine my behavior going forward for at least 10, 15 years. This is the problematic portion of that. So I'm not saying that it is not reasonable to adjust your behavior based on boundaries that we need to set. Because I was listening to Atlas of the Heart. Brene Brown, y'all know her? Vulnerability lady. Well, she has a new book called Atlas of the Heart. If you're not a reader, look on HBO Max. She has a little series that is kind of delving into the language of emotions. And she uses like movie clips and TV clips so we can identify what certain emotions look like, because the average person thinks they only have three emotions: sad, mad, and happy. And there's actually about 83 common emotions that her framework has determined is like the baseline of just human experience. And so it's a very interesting. I recommend it. But lost my whole train of thought right then. What were we talking about? So at any rate, the thing that did was took away my authenticity. It made it so that I used my experience with one person to determine how, that snapshot of that incident and how it felt at that moment. I used that to determine how I would operate going forward, not based on how I actually felt in each moment or in my connections in those individual moments in when I was experiencing them, but throwing back to when I experienced this not so great experience, and not only not allowing myself to be who I really was, because there were times when I wanted to share things about myself and I made a concerted effort not to authentically be myself in relationships with people. And there were people that I am now judging based on what someone else did. Also, not a good look, not fair to that person. I didn't give them a chance to disappoint or support. I just automatically generalize them. I stereotype them based on the previous experience that I had. And so I share this because I feel like in doing that, I shaped my future based on one event in the past instead of just allowing life to unfold. Because here's the bottom line. I did that because I didn't want to hurt. Like my feelings were hurt in that moment and I didn't like how it felt. Okay. Yes, that's not fun. It doesn't feel great to get your feelings hurt. We know that. But I didn't die. Like it wasn't the end of my world. We didn't even split right then. So I put a lot on that. I put a lot on that, which ultimately stopped me from being true to who I was. And that's what I feel like is the moral of the story. Nothing should stop me from being authentic to who I am. Nothing someone outside of me does, something externally that happens should stop me from being true to myself. And so I just wanted to share that because I feel like nobody should steal your shine. No one should blow out your candle. I don't care if they do something that is hurtful or harmful. Humans do it. We're all the villain in somebody's story, but we got to learn how to forgive, release, and let stuff go. Now, if you go to the person and let them know, like, I wasn't really cool with how that went down, and set a boundary and let them know, like, if that happens again, then we probably not going to be rocking, or I will feel like I can't really talk to you, and that's going to impact our level of closeness or connection. So we need to practice that. We meaning me, of course, but everyone, like putting the boundary out there before you just like unplug. That's the important part, because we're humans. We're going to rub each other the wrong way sometimes. It's just the nature of humanity. We don't always see eye to eye. We don't always explain things well. We don't always get each other, but I don't think it's from a lack of love and care. I just think communication sometimes isn't right. And sometimes like people are in their own stuff. Everybody's the star of their own movie. And some days we may be co-stars. Some days they're an extra. It just depends on what the script is that day. So I think within that dynamic, it's easy to hurt each other's feelings, you know? So we have to be able to put the emotion aside to do the repair when the relationship warrants. Sometimes people show you who they are, you believe them, and you recognize this isn't a good fit for me. But there are relationships that matter, and we can talk through things and get back connected, because there's going to be disconnects, but can we reconnect? And we can in most cases, especially where there's love involved. But that is what I'm sharing today. Until I see you again, you already know what I will ask you to do. Live, love, and thrive. Mwah. Wake up.